In the last season of ANIKULAPO, The Rise of the Spectre. Don't worry, I'll drop the recap link in the description if you want to catch up. We met a warlord so drunk on power that he went the extra mile to grab it. Spoiler alert, it didn't end well, he died. And now, he's basically a regular escort, guiding Saro's ghost to the afterlife. Talk about Basharu's escort services, eh? 3-for-1 package with no refunds. We also followed Omaomi's messy love triangle. Wait, wasn't she betrothed to Awala Basharu's son? Yes, she was. But now, she married Kuranga, the crown prince of Ede Kingdom. Then he died. And now, she's been kidnapped by the king's men of Ede Kingdom. Oh, love really said, let me stress you, eh? This is a story filled with secrets. Secrets bigger than Aworo's body count. But to her, it's all business. Until business got personal. Because Saro married her daughter, ouch. And they had a son, well, we'll call him Saro. Ouch. But where is Saro the ANIKULAPO? That's a good question, so please get in line because the new season begins with answers. Not the ones you want, no, but the ones you start asking along the way. Subplots inside subplots. Stories colliding so beautifully. Old faces, new faces, all meeting again in the brand new season of ANIKULAPO. The Ghoul Awakens. Now you're caught on. Let's get serious. Or as a philosopher once said, let's get the recap started. The story opens with Basharu escorting those restless ghosts inherited from Saro to the afterlife for judgment, and soon after they teleport to hell, they were welcomed with merciless whiplashes from the Punisher. And Basharu, being Basharu, is not reflecting on his say-so. Baba is networking. He learns about his secret escape tunnel from hell back to the land of the living. But it comes with terms and conditions. And of course, Basharu does what we all do with terms and conditions. He ignores it and dives straight in. Bwah! This guy, he passed several layers of extra hot flames. He hurt Abby, and somehow made it back to Earth. You would think it's a success. Except, not really, because he didn't come back as a normal human being. Oh no, he has become something worse. A ghoul, a demon of sorts, skin looking like burnt plantain, with his eyes permanently on fire emoji mode. The only way he can look human again is by sucking a soul out of a human being. And even that one himself is temporary. After a small time, he expires like that your MTN data bond. Meaning, he can't stay in the community. He can't blend in. He must keep recharging on humans, like power bank. And this ghoul, he's about to become the kingdom's worst nightmare. Meanwhile, 2 years have passed in the kingdom of Oyoile since the last events, and today was a special day. Make way for the crown prince as he returns home from Oshogbo, where he had been training as a hunter. The moment he hears what happened to his stepsister, Omaomi, his blood began to boil. All he wants to do is storm their kingdom and bring her back, even if it's by force. But that would mean war, something his father has carefully avoided all these years just to preserve peace. Especially now, with troubling news of Portuguese slave traders already operating around Ashanti, near the Ghana coast. Oyo needs allies, not enemies. Only is certain someone is already in business with these Portuguese. If not Tawaru and her daughter, Laturera. Who else? They sell slaves. Don't worry. Only criminals and debtors. As if that makes it any better. They even sell elephant talks on the side. And since Laturera joined the family business, sales have been booming. I say profits more. Now let's talk about people whose lives are doing the opposite of booming. Arolake and Akin. Remember that magical purse that spits out endless money? Yes, that one. You think these people would be swimming in gold, bathing in cash, sneezing out coins. But no, after seeing how the purse almost caused her destruction, an endless level of chaos, they both said, yup, this money is cursed. And Arolake threw it away. They left Oyo town soon after Basharu's attempt to kill her failed and settled in Ilushaki, where Akin's father is from, staying with his uncle Jeyo and his wife. Money became tight, so Akin took a job on a farm. while Arolake stayed home. One day, while Akin is out, his uncle's wife pulls Arolake aside and starts talking about what pregnant women eat and all that talk. You're probably wondering where she's going with this, right? Turns out, she can tell Arolake is pregnant. Wait, something the king of Oyo could do. The one that Saru tried and failed to. Akin, you safe now, Baba. When Arolake tells him Akin is over the moon, she feels like she's finally won at life. A loving husband, a baby on the way. And when the baby arrives, a bouncing baby boy. Their joy is unmatched. But 2 years later, money problems become their unwanted roommate. They constantly regret throwing away that purse. But when I see these two, they are determined to push through. But one person who is not pushing through, Omominio. So, after her in-laws reclaimed her, she's been engaged to Kuranga's brother, Ashiru. And guess how long? For the past 3 years, one reason could be because every single night, she still dreams about Kuranga. Like Netflix won't let her skip the episode. Nightmares non-stop. Her in-laws are now whispering, Omodei, hey, are you cursed? Is this girl cursed? Marrying her to another son might end the same way as the first though. And clearly, Omomi doesn't love Ashiru. She can't even look at him. Ashiru, on the other hand, is a man of standards. A principled man, if you may. He's like, if you don't want me, I don't want you to. Sure. King behavior. In fact, he even agrees that if she wants to go, let her be going. But despite acting tough, he still tries to win her over with gifts. And Omomi can't say she doesn't like them because with Kaimu, he catches her trying them on. But gifts alone were never going to change Omomi's heart. What she really needed was hope. And that hope arrived the day Aderoju finally came to visit her in Ede. From the moment she saw him, joy returned to her life. For the first time in years, she wasted no time pouring out her pain. How miserable she was, how unloved and misunderstood she felt, and how living there was slowly draining the life out of her. Of course, she may have added a little pepper to the story, just enough to push Aderoju into action. And it worked. He decided to take her back to Oyo immediately. But just as they tried to leave, the army of Ede blocked their path. Tension rose. Swords almost came out until fate stepped in. The king of Ede, adhering to his son's words, gave them permission to pass. By the time they arrived in Oyo, night had fallen. Omomi covered her face, so no one would recognize her. But Awolaro only needed a quick side glance to know exactly who she was. Now, the real problem wasn't the people, it was their father. Aderoju had to tell him first, before anyone else did. So, Aderoju goes into full crisis management mode, trying to keep the secret from Queen Sukomi, the kingdom's official minister of gossip and, the one that announces breaking news. To lock things down even more, he visited Awolaro. Awolaro promised to keep quiet, and since he had found another woman he loved and was preparing to marry, he officially told Aderoju he would no longer go ahead with his marriage to Omomi. Problem solved, or so it seemed. Meanwhile, in Ilushat, Arolake's worst fear was creeping closer. During a festival, Akin joins the singers because yes, our man can sing, not bathroom singing, stage-worthy vocals. That was when jealousy tapped Arolake on the shoulder. The way the lead singer and Akin were vibing together, you would think love was rehearsing for its own duet. Arolake says, I've seen enough. He grabs their son and leaves mid-festival. Akin got home late and calmly promised that it's all in her head. And besides, he had made so much money just from singing that the group invited him to join them. Arolake says, no. It won't happen. Their empty pockets say yes. It will happen. Eventually, she agrees, but with a firm warning. Sing, but don't sing your marriage away. Akin promises faithfulness. Fingers crossed. Now serious fingers crossed. Now back in Oyo town, news spreads about people disappearing. The ones Basharun used to make himself look human again. The king and his chiefs hear about it. Not knowing who is really responsible, they assumed it's linked to the slave trade. And we all know who runs the slave trade in town. Yes, you know it, Awaru. But she pays her taxes, which the Kabiesi and Izoloye, all of them, they have shop it finish. They have clean mouth. The king orders her to stop all slave trading immediately. She negotiates like a true CEO. Kabiesi, let me finish my last batch, so I don't run at a loss. And the king agrees. Capitalism wins again. Meanwhile, all this time, Aderoju still hasn't told his father about bringing Omo Omoumi home, and Queen Sukomi, that gossip of his stepmother, finally finds out and runs her mouth to the king, who catches them red-handed. His decision is final. Omoumi must return to her in-laws. The peace between both kingdoms is more important than his daughter's happiness. So she gets sent back, and Aderoju, that man is looking for a new adventure. He meets with the community hunters who celebrate his return, but he quickly realizes they see him as just an amateur hunter who can't handle their forest, a place filled with mythical creatures and animals that disappear into thin air. Feeling disrespected, he sets out alone to prove he's just as much a hunter as they are. Only when he gets there, reality hits. The hunters were right. Maybe he didn't aim properly. Let him try again. He targets the deer again and it disappears again. Frustrated but stubborn, he spent the night in the forest, and the next day when he woke up, there was a beautiful, mysterious lady lying next to him. He chases after her, asking where she came from, what her name was, but she's mysterious for a reason. It didn't take long for Aderoju to fall in love, but as they parted ways that day, something strange happened. The woman transformed into the very deer he had been trying to hunt, and he saw it within 2 naked eyes. Nobody had to tell him to go home. I poured cold water on his head to wake up properly. The hunter's words came back to him. Not everything that looks like an animal in that bush is actually an animal. But my guy decides that the saying, a word is enough for the wise, doesn't apply to him. He returns to the forest and starts a full-blown romance with the woman, even wanting to go as far as marrying her. But she states the obvious. Their kinds can never marry. Just after saying goodbye to his forest girlfriend, Basharu attacks him, beats him to the ground, and starts sucking out his soul. As Aderoju screamed, the mysterious woman heard his cries and rushed back. In one fast move, I'm talking Remi mysterious style here, Joe. She launched herself at Basharu, interrupting the feeding just in time. Basharu fled into the bushes, leaving Aderoju barely alive. Aderoju's condition was bad, very bad. The mysterious woman had to drag his body all the way to the edge of the forest so villagers could find him before she disappeared back into the shadows. But days passed and nothing changed. The prince lay there, breathing but not living, trapped in a deep coma. The new high priest examined him and dropped the bombshell. Aderoju was as good as dead. Whatever happened in that forest went beyond normal sickness. The real problem? The puzzle was incomplete, and the missing piece was the mysterious woman who brought him back. Without her story, nothing made sense. In simpler terms, they need her to tell them what Aderoju encountered in the forest. So, the king sends all the hunters into the forest to find her, which, let's be honest, is like delivering a buffet service straight to Basharu. Free-range humans, no queue, easy meat. Oh my god. The hunters discovered dried human carcasses. People sucked dry like okporoko. Hey, red flag, yes. Do they turn back? Of course not. Anyway, while the king can't wait forever, he consults another chief priest, Arosoyin. This man doesn't even touch Aderoju. He just looks at him and says, this one don't go. This one is gone. But wait guys, just wait. There was a solution, but it was a dangerous one. A life for a life. One of the king's other children would have to be sacrificed, just like Queen Sukomi loves to do. Her daughter eavesdrops on the conversation and immediately tells her mom, who wants the other wife, before running away with her own children. All 3 of them. But sacrificing one child for another isn't an easy decision for the king, and he can't bring himself to let go of his comatose son either. He refuses. Seeing his hesitation, so he suggested another option, a child he doesn't know he has. Ladies and gentlemen, that child is Arolake's child. Yes, that child. The result of them being intimate when she returned to Oyoile. Since the king had no idea the child existed, the priest decided it was best to keep it that way. He would handle everything quietly. Meanwhile, after Omoumi returns to her in-laws, she gets more heartbreaking news. Her maid, Abena, the closest thing she has to a friend, is traveling with others to visit her mom. So, Omoumi disguises herself and joins them. Only after days of walking through several kingdoms do they finally discover her. Abena plans to return her to her kingdom the next day, clearly seeing a pattern here where people always want to send her back like a Temu package. She says no and runs away, determined never to go back. And since she's known for making great decisions, she makes one more and joins a group of travelers, unaware that they are slave traders. She gets so sold for a high price for being royalty to the Portuguese buyers. Meanwhile, Arolake's fears are about to come true. Aki, after joining the singers, they traveled far and their performances are unlike anything anyone has seen before. He's clearly making money and also dodging every temptation. That isn't his wife, but she doesn't know that. She's worried. He stays away longer and longer with no one to talk to since Akin's uncle and his wife have both passed away. She sometimes cries herself to sleep, thinking she's losing him. If only she knew what she was truly about to lose. One day, a medicine seller, as in Yaoniabo, comes to her compound and begs for water when Arolake leaves to get it, leaving her sleeping son outside. The Agbo woman kidnaps this child. Arolake comes back and the woman is nowhere to be found. Most importantly, her son. Amamida, yes, my son. She raises the alarm, but no one has seen either of them. The series ends here, leaving us hanging on the edge of a cliff. Will Arolake's innocent child be sacrificed for a prince who might already be gone? Or will Omoumi escape the chains of slavery? And will Basharu's reign of terror ever end? And trust me, with all these loose ends, they better bring it back, because leaving us like this, that would just be cruel. And with that, we've reached the end of ANIKULAPO, The GHOUL Awakens, directed by Kunle and now streaming on Netflix. Definitely let us know if you're checking this one out. This is Jelly Baba signing off. Drop your thoughts in the comments below and hit that like button. Subscribe if you haven't already, and until next time on Worthy of Recap.